Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another image webinar. Ben Noor here with Realtor Vision RTV Incorporated. And I want to first of all welcome everyone to the show. Thank you so much for taking some time to be with us tonight. We've got a few things as we're getting started here, just a couple of housekeeping things to go over, and then we will get started. Tonight, of course, our image webinar is all about night photography. And we're going to be talking about how to take those type of shots that give a real warm, inviting look, create something unique for people to look at other than just the standard daytime photos that a lot of people see, and create some of that real intrigue and pique people's curiosity to find out more about the property which we're going to be photographing. So as we're getting started tonight, I received an email or an instant message today from one of our tour builders, and he wanted to just let me know that his daughter, Jennifer Cross, happens to be on the Food Network in the program that some of you might have seen, the Worst Cooks in America. All right, and here she is. I hope everybody can see my screen okay. In fact, why don't I go ahead here and just check and make sure that everybody can see all right. And hopefully there everybody can see. Right here we've got a photograph of Jennifer Cross on the Food Network, and she is one of the worst cooks in America. And so she's going through that program, so we just wanted to wish her the best and hope that everything goes well for her. All right. Now, as far as our night photography goes, we've got a very special treat for everybody who is here tonight. First of all, for those of you who are familiar with our blog, everybody who has attended the webinar live tonight, if they submit a blog by this Friday, if you can get your blog into us by this Friday, you will receive a free tour credit. Now, the blog doesn't have to be specifically about this webinar. The blog can be about anything. It could be about your experience. It could be how your business is doing right now. It could be about something interesting new that you've learned. It could be about the image webinar if you wanted to. It could be, for those of you who are on the Social Ignition course, how things are going with that. You could do a webinar about how you got started with RTV, how you found RTV. Hey, even if you were with another virtual tour company, how and why you switched to RTV. All those make great articles. So for anybody who has a moment, and go ahead, write a blog article, get that into us by Friday, and everybody live here is going to get a free tour credit for that. Also, if this is your first time blogging, you're brand new with us and you've never written a blog before, you are going to get the 2 free tour credits that you get for the first time that you blog, plus you're also going to get the free tour credit that we're offering for being on the show live tonight. So if you're here live, it's your first time with us, you've never written a blog before, now is the time to submit it because you're going to get 3 free tour credits, all right? So make sure that you definitely take advantage of that offer. All right. So that's our little plug for the free gift that everybody here live tonight gets. Now, we have someone very special that was in the midst of their very busy life willing to come on tonight and talk with us about photography. And we have Brian Peterson on with us tonight. And if you look at my screen here, you can see a photo of Brian. Brian is a photographer, a world-renowned photographer. He's been a photographer for over 30 years. And he also has been teaching about photography for 20 years. He's the type of guy, I can tell, he's definitely got an eye for creativity, and he likes to make things fun and creative. In fact, I've seen a few of his videos on YouTube and other places, but he definitely likes to make the learning process about photography fun and creative. He has authored several books, Understanding Exposure, Understanding Shutter Speed, Beyond the Portrait, Creative People Photography, as well as Learning to See Creatively. Now, he's also got a popular instructional DVD that is How to Take the Perfect Picture. All right. Now, Brian is the founder of this photography school, the Perfect Picture School of Photography. All right. And Brian is actually sitting in an airport tonight. Brian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. Brian is sitting in an airport in D.C. tonight, and he is waiting to board a plane at 10 p.m. tonight, headed for Abu Dhabi. Is that correct, Brian?
Yes, it is.
All right, and you're headed out there to do some photography, I would assume. And is it for a specific customer, or is it just a general photo shoot?
It's a combination of 2 things, actually. It's a photo shoot for 2 days, and then I'm also meeting with a group of photographers from Abu Dhabi, who are going to be spending about 2 days with me learning all about location lighting.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, great, excellent. Well, that sounds exciting. That sounds exciting. I've got some of your pictures up. I don't know if you're on your computer there, if you're seeing that we've got some of your images up here. You've got a really neat photo of a house here with some beautiful color in the sky, and this was an evening shot, correct?
Yes, it was, up on Whidbey Island in the San Juans of Washington State.
Okay. All right, great. And I noticed on your website here you had a couple of other interesting photos in the evening time there. You had one that with this beautiful shot here.
Yeah,
it looks like
that's in Venice, Italy, of the Duomo at sunset.
Okay. All right, great, great. And as I was getting ready for this webinar, one of the videos that I had come across was your video here where I believe you said you were in Florida. Is that correct?
Yeah, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, okay. And you were talking about some of the tips to get some great shots in the evening before it goes completely dark. And if I'd like to have you just explain what you're doing here in this video, if you wouldn't mind.
No, not at all. What I'm wanting to make clear to photographers is that when shooting night scenes, oftentimes a mistake made by beginner photographers is that they're shooting their night scenes when it gets good and dark. I mean, the argument is, well, I'm going to wait until it gets good and dark. The problem is you give up a tremendous opportunity to get some wonderful contrast. And by contrast, I mean what is often referred to by me as dusky blue sky, what I call Mr. Dusky Blue Sky, and I'll explain the Mr. in a moment. But the video clearly demonstrates that about 20 minutes after the sun has gone down, you do have this dusky blue sky, and believe it or not, in the digital age, even on an overcast day, by switching to a tungsten white balance, you'll still get a dusky blue sky because of the color temperature change. But the minute you wait upwards of an hour, which a lot of people do, they go, well, I'm going to go have dinner first, and then I'll come back when it's good and dark, is that all that darkness in the sky now, which essentially records as black regarding its exposure, ends up taking some of those buildings that are not always lit up at night in the way we would like them to be, causing the darker buildings as well to blend into the black sky. And we don't get a separation from those buildings nearly as much.
That would be like this photo here?
Right, yeah. And the added contrast of the dusky blue sky combined with the color also makes for what I consider to be a far fresher image than one with the black sky.
Yeah, you can definitely see more of the color of the actual buildings, but you still get the essence of nighttime, and that blue is a lot more intriguing than if we look at just the all black. It's almost a black and white with a few light tones of color just from the signage on the buildings.
Right, and one of the keys as well, and this is a relatively easy exposure, considering other difficult exposures, and by that I mean this: if you're there approximately 15 to 20 minutes after sunset, and it doesn't matter if the sun has set behind these buildings, it doesn't matter if the sun has set behind you. In other words, you're looking east as the sun goes down behind you, and it doesn't matter if you're looking north or south. You will have that opportunity for the dusky blue sky to reveal itself, and as I mentioned, it's usually around a 20-minute wait period. But once it's there, you would not find yourself having to fiddle with a lot of dials if you just follow a real simple exposure formula, and it goes like so. Take your meter reading from the dusky blue sky, and you simply arrive at a composition that you think is appealing. In this case, we're splitting the frame, which is unusual, but because of the reflection, I have no problem with the 50-50 composition here. But this is the finished photograph, and the question I often get in shots like this is, where do you take your meter reading? And I tilted the camera up above those buildings, so for the most part, all I have is blue sky. And I've made a determination ahead of time that in this particular instance, I do not have any depth of field concerns, which is something controlled by the aperture. And when I have a situation where I do not have any depth of field concerns, I will always resort to the aperture choice of f8 or f11, two apertures that I affectionately refer to as